which is awesome. Would anybody like to care to tell me what chapter 4 was about? Pavel, yeah?
I think chapter 4 was about James. Well, at least the end of it. I don't remember the beginning. The end of it was that they wanted to replace the Articles of Confederation in a meeting, and
it's not it's not replaced. They said get rid of.
Replace is getting rid of and then putting something in its place.
Yeah, replaces.
And then there was also the Northwest Ordinance.
You guys know about the United States Constitution. What is this document? I would like some, thank you, Laura.
Like a document that has all the laws. So if there's a rule and you don't know if you're breaking it or not, you just check the Constitution.
So you're saying I should walk around with a Constitution booklet?
No, as in like, no, but like if someone like has to go to court, and they look at the Constitution to see if this person's breaking a rule.
I was not kidding. I literally walk around with my little pocketbook Constitution. And this right here is a lot smaller than the actual document itself, but it was it's miniature. But this is a copy of the United States Constitution. It has all the amendments from Amendment 1 all the way to Amendment 27. Yep. And then you have all of the articles. So this is actually something that I carry around, and I make little notes and drawings in it just so that I remember my rights, just in case something ever happens. And you can get those at any library. I know usually you guys read the text or we kind of work through it, but today I kind of want to look at the pictures and kind of make predictions as to what's going on and how the United States Constitution came about. So in today's lesson, we're going to be able to make observations. We're going to make predictions about how the delegates influenced the writing of the Constitution. And then we're going to evaluate, why is the Constitution even important and how does it connect with us today? And I want you to start off with thinking, how did the Constitution secure people's futures? When you hear that question, what is something that comes to mind? Because it's always referred to the Constitution, but what about that document secures people's future? Nate, you want to give it a crack?
Maybe because they had like a good Congress in the future, and maybe a president became born.
Ooh, I like that. Tell me more, George. Do you have something to add to that?
So like, if it's kind of like what Laura said, like if someone did something that would probably make them go to court, then if they checked the Constitution, then that's one of the rights of Englishmen. It was that you like have a trial by jury and you don't like go to jail right away.
Right. And now I have a question for you guys. Specifically for RJ, is the Constitution only for when people get in trouble? Is it only used when somebody does something wrong?
No.
When do you think we would use the Constitution?
In important stuff, when people are arguing over one law or another.
Ambassador is a person who is an official representative of his or her government or country. So I have two pictures here. Who thinks they know who these two people are? Raise a hand. Gracie, give me the first picture of the man. Who is this guy?
Governor Newsom.
Yep, that's Governor Newsom. And anybody know who this lady is on to my right? Who's this lady to my right? George.
Is it Breed Liver or something?
London Breed. London Breed.
Yeah, she's a mayor of San Francisco.
Yes, so just like an ambassador, these two individuals are ambassadors to our government. Governor Newsom is our governor of the California state. And then you have London Breed, who is the mayor of San Francisco City. So in a way, they are our ambassadors in Congress. So just keep that in mind when we are going through these pictures and texts. And let's make some observations, okay? This is a time for you guys. I'm gonna open up the chat. I want you to tell me, what do you notice about this picture? I'm gonna go without reading the little passage on the side. I just want you to make make observations of what you notice in this picture. And I'm just going to call them out. So Pavel says horse abuse. Okay. So we just want to make observations of what we see. So for instance, I see that he's wearing, you know, a very older looking top. He has long black boots. It looks like he has a white horse, beautiful white horse. Anything else that you guys see? Yes, that looks like a wig, gray hair. Do you notice anything on his hands? What does he have on his hands? Oh yes, that is a hat. You know what? I didn't even see that. Oh, I do see a whip as well. Anything in the background do you guys see? Do you see anything in the background that kind of gives you information of where it could be? We have a river, yeah. Maybe he's at war. Now let's start making some predictions. What do you think is happening in the picture? Now that we've seen that he has a whip, he has boots. It looks like he's kind of perched on a prairie. Some say that's war. We're fighting. Any other predictions of what could be possibly happening? General Washington's on the road to somewhere and he's apparently larger than his horse. Yes. Now this artist who made this painting, why do you think he would make Washington bigger than the horse? What kind of statement are we saying there? Laura, do you want to speak on that?
Because Washington contributed more to America's history than the horse.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Excellent. Anybody want to add on that? Why?
Because I think they want him to stand out more than the horse.
You think they, yeah. Because I'm pretty sure in real life, if I stood next to a horse, I would not be looking over the back like that. Anybody else want to add to
Can I go?
Yeah, Maddie.
I think it's because he's very proud and like he feels very tall because he's proud of himself.
Yes, I like that. I like how you said that he's proud. So I'm going to go ahead and read this passage. Oh, sorry. Who said that? Pavel?
Can I add?
Yes, please.
Maybe because they thought like power is size, basically.
So you're saying the bigger you are, the more powerful you are?
Well, because he's really powerful in America.
I love the conversations that we're having. Let's see if our predictions were correct. Philadelphians eagerly awaited the arrival of the most famous American of all, George Washington. Crowds lined the streets to cheer the hero. Men who had served the American Revolution came out of their old uniforms to greet their commander. Washington's presence alone was enough to create a feeling of hope and optimism about the Constitutional Convention. So going back on what you were saying, Lilith, how maybe because he's bigger, he has more power, then why do you think George Washington's presence in Philadelphia was encouraged based off this picture? How can we make a connection? Nate?
Because he was like a really good general and he helped make the victory possible, and that's why everybody's like, oh, Washington, you're the hero.
Anybody want to add to that?
Because maybe he was like a god from the heavens to them.
So when
They should put like an outline of gold.
Washington
The lesson I curated today was a history lesson of the United States Constitution. This was an extension lesson where students had been reading the development of the United States government, all the major delegates who collaborated on the Constitution, and the impact of writing such a document. My lesson uses guided questions to help the students visually analyze the images that represent the delegates who attended the U.S. Convention in Philadelphia and contributed to writing the Constitution. I really liked the idea of showing images and allowing the students to observe, predict, and evaluate them, because it allows them to find connections with what they already know to the images that they're seeing and being asked about. So, for example, the image of George Washington. The students were very knowledgeable of who he was, but they also were able to process the connection between how he was represented in the picture and how that connected to his importance of being one of the major players in writing the Constitution. As a reflection, I noticed that I really didn't make any modifications for anybody who may struggle with reading. This very dense text, you'll see on my slides that I still have the actual book copied on the slides, so it can be intimidating looking. But I tried to chop it up as much as possible and provide a user-friendly, bigger picture, kind of smaller sections of text, but I could still see it kind of was intimidating to kind of see all that text there. These are just the images that I actually ended up showing the students after the lesson, because they kept asking me about my pocketbook Constitution and all the little doodles and drawings in them, and I encouraged them to get one themselves, so hopefully they do. I wanted them to feel inspired to be able to create whatever they wanted wherever they wanted, and for me, creating doodles, I told them, were a way for me to understand things, and that's why I doodled and I put words in places that made sense to me, and I encouraged them to do the same. Change this lesson from online to in person. I find it really difficult to kind of gauge and check for everybody's understanding. I try to remedy that by having the chat open so people can still contribute to the discussion. But even so, I am not sure if everyone got the objectives or understood the purpose of the lesson. So that is something that I'll continue to work on and try to gain the strategies and techniques to put that in my teacher toolkit. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate the feedback.